What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today we will be reviewing Toy Story 4. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as for character development, I would say it is quite strong in this movie. This movie focuses a lot on Woody and Bo Peep. Now Woody has kind of been, I'd say the main character for all 4 Toy Story films. I know it's kind of switch and change between him and Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear is in this movie. He doesn't really have as much development as previous Toy Story films. However, I'd say that this movie is more focusing on Woody as well as Bo Peep. They really do expand Bo Peep's role in this movie. She's not just, a side character or a love interest for Woody. She actually has a lot of development and you understand where she's coming from in this movie. As for a lot of the other characters, I did feel like they were kind of sidelined, like Slinky, Mr. Potato Head, Rex. They were all kind of sidelined, and they were kind of big characters in the previous Toy Story film. So I felt a little annoyed that they were sidelined the way they were. However, I can't argue with the development done on Woody and Bo Peep, so I'm going to give character development an 8 out of 10 because while I think that the main characters did have suitable development, I really wish that some of the other characters got more screen time. Now, as for the performances, you can't really say that the actors and actresses in this movie are not talented and not doing a good job. Of course, Tom Hanks as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear. These actors have portrayed the characters for 3 movies and they don't disappoint in this movie. You can tell that every member of the cast which has appeared since the first Toy Story movie are still putting their all into this movie. And as this looks to be the last Toy Story film, I think that they all have a great passion for these films and they really do put their all in. So I'm going to give performances a 10 out of 10 because I can't argue with the calibre of the actors and actresses, and the new additions also fit their roles really well. Now, as for the effects, this is a Pixar movie, so of course the effects are always of a high standard. Whether you like some of the later Pixar films or not, you can't really fault it on their animation. I mean, in the very first Toy Story film, the animation was, very cutting edge. It was very risky. No one had really seen a fully digitalized movie before, and Toy Story proved that. And Toy Story 4 doesn't disappoint with its animation and special effects. It looks really well. I think it's very cutting edge. And I love that they put their all into these movies. Pixar are very good with their effects, and I think it's going to stay that way. So I'm going to give the effects a 10 out of 10 because, to be honest, I can't really fault the effects. Now, the story and writing is beautiful. I like the route that this movie takes. It's all about, can a toy just live his life without the need for children, not having to just fully commit to one kid. He can just get lost and then just enjoy with loads of different kids and not just one particular kid. Now, I like the direction they go with Woody in this movie because at the end of Toy Story 3, he was with Bonnie, Andy had left, and it seemed like the end of that particular journey. However, in this movie, what it shows is that Woody is kind of using Bonnie to replace Andy, and the difference is that Bonnie does not favour Woody as the favourite toy. So Woody knows now that he's never going to get what he had with Andy, with Bonnie. And I like, several times in this movie, you see Bonnie see Woody and another toy called Forky, who is apparently not a toy because he was made from trash. And she always says, "Oh, I found Forky." And she never really even mentions Woody anymore. So I think by the conclusion of this movie, when Woody says his goodbyes to the gang and goes off with Bo Peep to live at the carnival, it seems very justified and very earned because Woody knows that he's never going to find a replacement for Andy. And he knows that Bonnie doesn't really favour him as a good toy. So he finally gets to live a bit of his life and be selfish for once, because Woody's very selfless. So he finally gets to be selfish for once. And the ending, the emotional goodbye, especially between Woody and Buzz Lightyear, is brilliant. I grew up with these characters. I grew up with the Toy Story films, so just seeing it come to an end like this is brilliant. So as for the story and writing, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because while I don't think it's the best Toy Story film, it has a beautiful ending and it's really emotional. Now, for this movie's special recognition, I'm going to mention how this movie kind of goes full circle. Because these movies are all about the progression of a child. Of course, in the first movie, it's all about a child getting new toys in, so the old toys begin to feel obsolete. In the second movie, it's more about seeing whether toys can break and sometimes you have to move on from them. And the third movie is about moving on. You know, sometimes you've got to give up toys, you've got to understand you're not a child anymore, and you've got to give them to the next generation. And this fourth movie, I think, is about Woody realising that he's no longer particularly valued as a toy by one particular child. And I really enjoy that this movie goes full circle. Obviously, there is the potential to do another Toy Story movie. I think it would be very stupid to do another one because I think this does round it off very well. You know, Woody finally gets his happy ever after, and Buzz Lightyear and the rest of the gang have said goodbye to him, a very emotional goodbye. So I think it should just stay as that. I don't think that it needs to continue like that. I don't think we need a Toy Story 5. The only way I think they'd have a Toy Story 5 is just if Disney wanted money. So you know what, Disney, just stay out of it, to be honest, because we don't need another Toy Story. This movie went full circle and it finished off the story in a very emotional and well done way. So I'm going to give this film special recognition a 9 out of 10 because it's a very emotional ending and it seems like a fitting conclusion to the Toy Story franchise. So in conclusion, Toy Story 4 is an emotional and well done conclusion to the Toy Story franchise. It delivers a powerful ending which has been built up across 4 movies. So I'm going to give Toy Story 4 a 44 out of 50, which gives it a grade 2 ranking. The Toy Story films were my childhood, and if I looked in the audience at my local cinema, I'd say probably 75% of the audience were my age or older. So you can tell a lot of people are going to see this film because it was their childhood. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed my Toy Story 4 movie review. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. And I will see you in another one. See ya!